this job's a dead end. This new job is a dead end. Wanna start working, but
What's good, gamers? This is your boy Stonky Kong 64, and we are here with a Magic the Gathering spoiler video. Now today, we're just going to go over the Caverns of Ixalan spoilers, but there's a lot of good stuff coming out. We have Ravnica Remastered, we have the Fallout Commander decks, which I am personally excited for, but since the Caverns of Ixalan is right around the corner, we're going to start off with that. Let's get it! Alright guys, just to let you know, some of these cards aren't in English, and I can barely speak English, so I won't be able to tell you what that card is. And you're also going to see me fumble over my words on a lot of these cards' names, because some of these are crazy. Just looking at them, some of these are crazy. But I'm going to do my best, so let's get right on into it. First up, it looks like we got the God cards. Alright. First up, we have Ojir Tak, Deepest Foundations. A 6-drop, 6/6 legendary creature, a god. Vigilance. Okay, it's already pretty white. If one or more tokens would be created under your control 3 times that many of those tokens are created instead? What the fuck? When it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped. Alright. What does the land do? It taps for a white, for 3 mana, transform it if you attacked with 3 or more creatures. Okay, but Jesus, 3 times the amount? If you make 1 token, you make 3 of them? Anointed Procession is already wild. This card is pretty wild. And it has this weird little technique, which I take it all these gods have, where you're able to just, there'll be lands and they can just come back. Sheesh. What the fuck? Alright, let's go to the next one. Ojir Pakapakatik, the Deepest Epoch. 4-drop, 4/3, flying, legendary god creature. Whenever you cast an instant spell from your hand, it gains rebound. Your instant spells have rebounds. So all of your draw cards, your brainstorms, your factor fictions, and all these just little instant blue cards have rebounds, so you get double use out of them. That's really good. It's a 4/3, and it also has the ability when it dies. This one in particular, when it dies, it comes back as a land tapped, and it has 3 time counters on it. Whenever you tap it for a blue, you remove one of the time counters, and when it has 0 time counters, you can tap 3 in it and transform it back into the creature. That's pretty wild if you ask me. That sounds like a fun commander deck to build. Alright, oh my god, this name is crazy. Aklasotots, the Deepest Betrayal. 5 mana, 4/4, flying and lifelink. Legendary creature, Bat God. Low-key, Bat God is crazy typing. I'm not going to get into that, but Bat God is crazy typing. It could just be a god. Okay, a little bat tribal going on. Whenever this creature attacks, each opponent discards a card. For each opponent who can't, you draw a card. Whenever the opponent discards a land card, create a 1/1 bat token with flying. Whenever this dies, of course, transform it and it enters the battlefield taps, and it becomes a land, produces a black for 3 mana, and tap this. This will transform back into a creature. Activate this only if a player has 1 or fewer cards. So if you're playing like a discard deck, something like Terragrid, dude, that's pretty good. And like I said, Bat God, that's really good typing. It looks like it's the only god with like dual typing, so that's pretty interesting. Next one, we have the red one, Ojir Axanil, Deeper Might. 4 mana, 4/4, trample, legendary creature, god. If a red source you control will deal an amount of non-combat damage less than its power and to an opponent, that source deals damage equal to its power instead. Okay, so let's say you cast a shock. Instead of dealing 1 damage, it'll deal 4. Lightning bolt, instead of 3 damage, it's 4 damage. So as long as the spell deals less damage than its power, it will deal the amount to its power instead. And if you beef this guy up, let's say this guy's a 10/10, Your shock will deal somebody 10 damage. That's pretty silly. When it dies, of course, it comes back as a land. Any stipulations? You transform it. If a red source you control dealt 4 damage or more, 4 or more non-combat damage this turn. And of course, all these cards, all these lands, you can only activate a sorceries. A little bit of balance, but that's also really good. I like that a lot. That sounds like a fun deck. By the way, most of my opinions are coming from the vantage point of EDH, if you haven't noticed already. So, sorry if you play any other format, but EDH is my format that I mostly play. So, everything I talk about is going to be from the vantage point of that. Alright, let's get to the Green God. Ogier, Chasm, Deepest Growth, 5 mana, 6/5, Trample. When this creature deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. You may put a creature and or a land card from among those onto the battlefield. Put the rest to the bottom in a random order. When this dies, transform it tapped into the green land. This is also really good. It's 5 mana, 6/5. You reveal cards. You get a land and or a creature, so you have the chance to get both. I like that a lot. It doesn't even say basic or anything like that. That's really good. Let's just double check to see if there's any stipulations to it. It's just as a sorcery, and you activate this if you have 10 or more permanents. Not bad. The ones that stand out to me the most is the white one. The white one is crazy. 3 times the amount of tokens is just insane. Your instance has having rebound. That's pretty wild. But the time counter thing, that's a little steeper than the other ones when it comes to the land part. This creature has flying and lifelink and is dual typed Bat God. It has some really cool abilities. This red one is just pretty ridiculous. You can easily break that in Commander. My head is already flooding with ideas right now. And this green one is also good. Honestly, all of these cards would be good as like additions into a strong deck, or you can even make strong decks out of these cards. I love it. I love God cards, and I love when they come out with new God cards. It's pretty dope. All right, let's get to the non-God cards. All right, Resplendent Angel, 3 mana, 3/3, flying. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain 5 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 angel creature token with flying and vigilance. For 6 mana, 3 solid white. To the end of the turn, this creature gets 2/2 and lifelink. That's not too bad. It's only 3 mana for a 3/3 flying. It doesn't naturally have lifelink, which is pretty whack. But if you're playing like a heavy life gain deck, this card will probably be a good add. I have an Alaro deck, so this card can maybe slide into Alaro. I would have to. It's pretty fine tuned, so I have to go in and search around and like move stuff around. But I might be able to add it. It's okay. All right. Ooh, legendary artifact for 1 mana, the Enigma Jewel. This comes in tapped. Which when you tap it to add 2 colorless mana, spend this mana to only activate abilities. Okay, so for Kinriff and things like that. All right. Craft for 4 more non-lands with activated abilities. What the fuck is craft? 9 mana, exile this artifact. Exile 4 more from among permanents. Exile 4 or more from other permanents you control and or your graveyard. Return this card transformed under its owner's control. Okay, it transforms. Locus of Enlightenment, legendary artifact. Locus of Enlightenment has each activated ability of the exile cards used to craft it. You may activate each one of those abilities once per turn. Whenever you activate an ability that isn't a mana ability, copy it. You may choose new target. What the fuck? Bruh. Now, 9 mana to craft it is crazy. Like, so really, this card costs 10 mana. But the transform part is really good. If you just have a way of just generating a lot of mana, and you're able to do that, that's pretty good. I actually like that. It's a little niche. It'll go into a niche deck, especially in EDH, but it could be used. Alright, these cards are not in English. Sorry, guys. As you guys can see already, I can barely speak English, so I'm just going to move on. It looks like we have another transform card. Halati, Poet of Unity. 3 mana, 2/3. When Hatali, Poet of Unity, enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So it ramps on entering. For 5 mana, two combinations of either red or white. Exile this and then return it to the battlefield transformed and under its owner's control. Obviously, only activate as a sorcery. It turns into a saga. Wow. First saga, create 2/3/3 dinosaur creature tokens. The second one, a Roar of the Fifth People gains creatures you control have tap for red, green, or white. Okay. The third one, search library for a dinosaur card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Okay, for dinosaur tribal. The fourth mode, dinosaurs you control gain double strike and trample to an end of turn. This card is rather niche into a dinosaur deck. I was gonna be like, oh, you could put this in that saga deck, that 5-color saga. It could still work, but I'm not a big fan of this card. Pretty underwhelming, especially because most of the planeswalkers of Atati is like pretty decent. So I don't think I'll have much use for that. Abuelo's Awakening. For 4 mana, NX, return target creature or non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield with an additional X/1/1 counters on it. It's a spirit creature with flying in addition to its other types. I could put that in my shrine deck, maybe. I would hate to pull that. It's not that good. A call. Was that a call per call? That's funny. A call per call. First among equals. 3 mana, 1/5. Okay, it has a big butt. Legendary creature, human advisor. At the beginning of each player's end step, if an artifact enters the battlefield under your control this turn, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, put the other one into your graveyard. If you're flickering artifacts, you do a lot of artifact stuff into the battlefield on your turn. Oh, a buddy of mine has a Emery deck. This card would be pretty solid in Emery. He gets to put artifact cards in his graveyard because he can cast them from his graveyard. And then, artifacts are always entering, so I can see that getting played in his deck. It's a pretty niche card other than that. I like the fact that it has a big butt. That's nice. But it's an okay card. Corpse of the Lost. 3 mana enchantment. Skeletons you control get 1/0 in haste. When Corpse of the Lost battlefield enters, when Corpse of the Lost enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 skeleton pirate creature token. At the beginning of your end step, if you descend it this turn, you may pay 1 life. If you do, return this to its owner's hands. Okay, so you can kind of keep reusing it. What the fuck is descend? You descend if a permanent card was put into the graveyard from anywhere. Okay, if a permanent card was put into the graveyard from anywhere, you descend. At the beginning of your end step, if you descend it at least 1 time, you may pay a life, put it back to your hands. On your next turn, you can cast it. Is there like legendary skeletons? Like, can you make skeleton tribal? Might have to look that up. Okay, we have Blade Wing. Oh yeah, okay, that card. Skeleton Ship. Anytime you control island, bury skeletons. Just wait. Put a modest one. Okay. Skitterex is a skeleton? Huh. Oh, and Tiny Bones. You could definitely, I'm sure you could find enough skeletons to make a skeleton deck. I mean, I wouldn't. It'll more or less be a troll deck if I make it, but it's valid. All right. Bonehead Dracosaur. Oh, one of my friends posted this in our in my play group's group chat. This card looks pretty good. 5 mana, 5/5, flying first strike. First strike just seems unnecessary, but that's cool. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exiled a land card this way, create a 3/1 dinosaur token. Which if you exiled a non-land card this way, create a treasure token. If only this card was legendary, that'd be pretty fucking sick. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But it's a good card. It could definitely get play in any mono red deck. I can see it getting play in a lot of decks. I definitely have decks this card can go in. That's pretty cool. What is this? Uncircumcised Scorner? Looks like this card is in German. Can't read that. Can't read this card either. And now we're going to go to Magmatic Galleon. Vehicle. 5 mana. 5/5. When Magmatic Galleon enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target creature and opponent controls. Whenever one or more creature your opponents control are dealt excess damage, excess non-combat damage, create a treasure token. Okay, this card's okay. Red burn decks, kind of fat for 5 mana. I don't know if I want to play this for 5 mana. And it's crew 2. Okay, it's crew 2, which is not that bad. You can crew this easily, and it's a bigger body. It's cool. It's all right. All right. We have Skull Spore Nexus, 8 mana. This card better be crazy for 8 mana. Legendary artifact. This spell costs X or less, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Okay, that's not bad. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control dies, create a green fungus dinosaur creature token with base power and toughness equal to the total power of those creatures. Oh. 2 in this, target creature's power doubles until the end of turn. Oh, this card is dope. Mono green deck? Put this card in a mono green? What the fuck happened all the way down here? In like this deck? That's solid. Oh, did I just skip? It doesn't matter. There's no rules to this, right? Damn. I missed Galta? Alright, let's go to Galta. Galta. 8 mana, 12/12 trample. When Galta Stampede Tyrant enters the battlefield, put any number of creature cards from your hand to the battlefield. What the fuck? Green is going up so far in this fucking in this set. Green has some shit. Jesus Christ. This is solid. In a mono, guys, 8 mana in green is nothing. I know I said that about the other card, but it was really good. This card is really good too. It's pretty nice. All right. We have 1,000 Moons Smithy. 4 mana legendary artifact. When 1,000 Moons Smithy enters this battlefield, create a white gnome soldier artifact creature token with when this creature's power and toughness is equal to the number of artifacts and or creatures you control. Okay, well that's just when it enters the battlefield. It could be one of those things you flicker. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may tap 5 untapped artifacts. If you do, transform this into a legendary land, and it doesn't come in taps. That's nice. Whenever you cast an artifact creature, whenever you cast an artifact or creature spell using mana produced with a Barracks of the 1,000, create a white gnome token creature token with this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of artifacts and or creatures you control. So the land just does this each turn you cast an artifact with this mana. This card is dope. I like this. I definitely have artifact decks. This has come out. I have a blue white Urza deck that this can go in. I like this. This is good. Damn, this is getting me excited to buy that box and open it on the channel. That's gonna be pretty fucking sick. All right. Oh, that. Oh, I just actually skipped this one. Fucking stupid. All right, we're going down here. This card, I can't read that. So we're gonna go to this. Kite Sail Larcenist. 3 mana, 2/3, flying, ward 1. When Kite Sail Larcenist enters the battlefield, for each player, choose up to one other target artifact or creature that player controls. For as long as you control Kite Sail Larcenist remains on the battlefield. In the chosen permanent becomes a treasure token with sacrifice. Oh, so this just turns your opponent's chosen opponent's creatures into an artifact, to a treasure. So they can just try to get rid of this. It has ward 1, which is nice. So, okay, this is a nice little blue removal. I can dig this. This definitely can have some spots. Uh-oh. Why does it keep doing that? Where were we? We were right here. Right here. Alright, next we have Queen's Bay Paladin. Creature, Vampire Knight, 5/4. Whenever Queen's Bay's Paladin enters the battlefield or attacks, return up to one target vampire card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. You lose life equal to this mana value. I like this. That's not too bad. 5 mana is kind of crazy for this. I wouldn't really want to pay that. But like Vampire Tribal, I could dig this. We have another legendary artifact, Brass Tunnel Grinder, 3 mana. When Brass Tunnel Grinder enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards and draw that many cards. Mono red, I already like that ability. At the beginning of your end step, if you descend this turn, put a lore counter on this. Then, if there are 3 or more boar counters on it, remove those counters and then transform it. It produces a red. Whenever you cast a permanent spell with using mana produced by this, Searing Rift discovers X, where X is that spell's mana value. Okay, a red land that discovers. That's interesting. Exploring isn't that bad of a mechanic, but this is definitely a good card. This could get played in a lot of my decks that have red in it, especially mono red. Can't read that. Let's go to this one. Kudzil's Flanker, 3 mana, 3/1, creature cat warrior, flash. Whenever Kudzil's Flanker enters the battlefield, choose one. Put a 1/1 counter on this for each creature that's left the battlefield under your control this turn. Gain 2 life, is scry 2, exile target player's graveyard. All right, a little Swiss Army knife. I could see this play getting. I could see this card getting played in like limited formats, like drafts and things like that. Mono white deck. It could be pretty cool. Save yourself from a field wipe. Not really save yourself from a field wipe, but at least you could get something out. You can flash it in for a blocker. You can gain some life, discard some cards, exile target player's graveyard. A little Swiss Army knife of a card. It's not too bad. Another transformed card, Braided Net, 3 mana artifact. Braided Net enters the battlefield with 3 net counters on it. Tap this, remove a net counter. Tap another target non-land permanent. Its activated abilities can't be activated as long as this remains tapped. I can craft with artifact for 2 mana. Once you craft this, you can tap 3 and tap this. Draw a card for each artifact you control, and then put Braided Occupy in the top of its owner's library. Okay. This card's okay. This card could get some play. I can't think of which one of my decks it could get play in, or I can't think of a strategy with this card. But, like, maybe with, like, combine this with Scroll Rack. Maybe I'm reaching too hard. I'm not too sure. But this is an okay card. Again, I'm a Commander player. If this card, or if any of these cards could do good in any of the formats that I'm naive to, just go ahead and in the comments and just like let me know, like, oh, this card could do this, or this card could do that. Or even if I didn't like mention something and one of these cards do something crazy commander that like combos with other shit in the comments, just drop it. Let me know. And hell yeah, we can brainstorm ideas. That's what I love about Magic the Gathering. 1 mana, Stalactite Stalker, a 1/1 menace. At the beginning of your end step, if you descend this turn, put a 1/1 counter on this. Tap 3, sacrifice it. Target creature gets X minus X until the end of turn, or this is its power. This card's okay. This card could be good in draft formats, I think, maybe. It looks like it'll be a solid card. I don't know if I'll really run it in a deck. I have the new Corvold I can run this in, maybe. But, it's okay. Can't read that card. Oh, this is the first merfolk we've come by. Sentinel of the Nameless City. 3 mana. Creature. Merfolk. Warrior Scout. 3/4. Vigilance. Whenever Sentinel of the Nameless City enters the battlefield or attacks, create a map token. If I'm not mistaken, a map token is like tap it, sacrifice it with 1 mana, and you explore or discover, something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm pretty sure a card will come up eventually and exactly let me know what map tokens is, but from my understanding, I think that's what map tokens are. Get lost. Get out of here. You'll never make it in this town. Get out of here, kid. Get lost. 2 mana. Instant. Destroy target creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. Its controller creates 2 map tokens. This card is fucking good. What the fuck? Yeah, they're artifacts. 1 mana. Sacrifice it. Target creature you control explores. Okay, yeah. Makes a creature explore. Who gives a shit that an opponent is exploring for 1 mana? You could destroy a target creature, enchantment, or planeswalker for 2 mana at instant speed? Hey, yo, this card is fire. What the fuck? I like that. I like that. Can't read that. Terror Tide. Terror Tide is a 4 mana sorcery. Fathomless Descent. All creatures get -X, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. This is a Corvold card if I ever seen one. If I can make space in my Corvold, which is pretty fine-tuned, I'm definitely putting this in there because I have nothing but permanents, and they're usually all in my graveyard, and that's pretty good. And my Corvold is usually fat, so this may survive it. I like it. Stop doing that. Fuck. Shit. Bitch. Yeah, I'm Shaq West. Oh, sorry. Got into my own head for a minute. Breaches of the Eager Pillager. 3 mana. 3/3. First strike. Legendary creature. Goblin Pirate. Okay. Whenever a pirate you control attacks, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Create a treasure token. Target creature can't block this turn. Exile top card of your library. You may play this card at any time. This card is solid. Whenever a pirate in a pirate deck, it's a goblin that you can put in like Krenko. That's solid. It's pretty okay. It's okay. Bedrock Tortoise. We got a turtle, baby. 4-drop. 0/6. 0/6. Did I say 0/6? I don't. Don't mind me. Bedrock Tortoise. 4 mana. 0/6. We got a big butt here. As long as it's your turn, creatures you control have hexproof. Okay. I kind of like that. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. So you could put this in like Arcades walls type of shit. Solid card. It could definitely be used. You know, is there enough? We did it with legendary skeletons. Are there legendary turtles? Legendary turtles. Yeah, it's this one. This is the one I'm thinking of. Legendary turtle shaman. Yeah, little Stacks turtle. We're here. Sanguine Evangelist. 3 mana, 2/1. Battlecry. What the fuck is Battlecry? Whenever this creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets 1/0. That's not a new mechanic. Whenever Sanguine Evangelist enters the battlefield or dies. Create a 1/1 bat token with flying. Okay, it's a vampire that makes back. It's just a vampire cleric. That makes sense. That's an okay card for tribal. Deep Root Pilgrimage. Pilgrimage. 2 mana enchantment. Whenever one or more non-token merfolk you control become tapped, create a 1/1 merfolk creature token with hexproof. This is pretty good for merfolk tribal. Anybody running merfolk tribal? This is a card to put in there. Pretty good. Stop doing that. Where were we? Not right there. We're right here. Next, we have Torian's Journal, legendary artifact. Sacrifice for 2 mana. Tap it. Sacrifice another artifact or creature. Draw a card. You can only activate it as a sorcery. For 2 mana in this, discard your hand. Jesus Christ. And transform this. Whenever you cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn, you may as a black, you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield with a finality counter on it, and it's a vampire in addition to its other types. If a creature with a finality counter on it dies, exile it instead. There's plenty of ways to remove counters, and even if it gets exiled to some things, it doesn't matter. Pretty good. The only thing I don't like is you have to tap it to transform it, and you can only do it at no, you can do it at instant speed. Okay, you could transform it at instant speed. Never mind. I like this card. This is actually another Corvo card that if I pull it in my box, I'm looking forward to putting it in there. That's pretty good. 7 mana sorcery. Yikes. And it's red. You know this is going to be fire. Hit the mother load. Discover 10. If the discovered card's mana value is less than 10, create a number of tapped treasure tokens. What's discover? Equal to the difference. To discover 10, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana cost 10 or less. Cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom. Oh, okay, so I get it. You exile cards until you reach a card 10 or less. Let's say you exile a 3-drop, you'll make 7 treasures because it's the difference with this card. Pretty good. It's definitely red shit. Red decks can use it. 7 mana mono red is pretty wild though, but you can make some of that back with treasures, and the treasures don't come in tapped. They do come in tapped. What the fuck? Fuck this card. It's still solid, but yeah, I don't like that. 5 mana sorcery, Cosmium Confluence. Okay, we have a new Confluence card. Oh, we have a green Confluence card. That's pretty cool. Confluence cards, you choose the mode more than once, at least 3 times. Search the library for a cave card. Put that into the battlefield tapped and then shuffled. I guess I want to see what cave cards that are coming out. Put 3/1 counters on a cave you control. It becomes caves obviously are lands. Duh, stupid. Elemental creatures, which has 0/0 elemental creature with haste. It's the land. Destroy target enchantment. Okay. I guess I need to see what cave cards are coming out to see how good this card is. And it did the thing again. We have an adventure card. Kellyan, Daring Traveler, 2 mana, 2/3. The sorcery part is 1 mana. Create X map tokens, where X is 1 plus the number of opponents you control. So for opponents, you make 5 map tokens. Then you can cast a first creature card. Where Kellyan, the Daring Traveler attacks, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card with mana value 3 or less, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it into your graveyard. A little loot action in whatever this color combination is. Oh my god, I'm blanking. Silencia. Jesus Christ, dude. Pretty okay card. It's legendary. Oh. This would be an interesting deck to make. Okay, that's interesting. I don't have a Silencia deck. I might think about that if I pull it. All right, we have another legendary artifact, 3 mana. The Ever-Flowing Well. When Ever-Flowing Well enters the battlefield, mill 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. I like that. Descend 8 at the beginning of your upkeep. If there are 8 or more permanents in your graveyard, transform this. It transforms into a land. Whenever you cast a permanent spell with the mana produced by the Myriad, there you go, Myriad pools, up to one other target permanent you control, up to one other target permanent you control becomes a copy of that spell to the end of turn. Oh, Myriad pools, so it becomes a copy. That makes sense. That's pretty cool. I like that. 3 mana, 2/4. Not legendary. Creature, vampire, cleric, preacher of the schism. Death Touch. Whenever Preacher of the Schism attacks a player with the most life or tied with the most life, create a vampire creature token with lifelink. When Preacher of the Schism attacks, you have the most life. If you have the most life or tied for the most life, you draw 1 card and lose 1 life. Another one of those cards where it's okay in tribal decks. It's alright. God, I needed that. Can't read that. Ooh, Growing Rights of Itlamog. I have 1 copy already, but I can always use budget Gaia's Cradle. Which got Growing Rights of Itlamog is that Mom, can we get Gaia's Cradle? We got Gaia's Cradle at home, and it's Growing Rights of Itlamog. Still a good card though. Can't pronounce what that says. One of my friends posted this card in the group chat. I actually hope I pull this card so I can build a mono blue deck out of Malcolm, the Alluring Scoundrel. 2 mana, 2/1. Legendary Siren Pirate with flash and flying. Whenever Malcolm, the Alluring Scoundrel deals combat damage to a player, put a chorus counter on it, draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 4 more chorus counters on Malcolm, you may cast discard a card without paying its mana cost. Imagine discarding a fucking Expropriate, casting Expropriate for free. This card is pretty silly. It has a little butt, but it also has flying. You loot, mono blue, plenty of counter spells. This card is great. Look, busted. I love this so much. This card is fire. I really want to build this guy. This is fun. This is definitely a fun blue card to build. 8 mana. Yeesh. 8 mana, 6/6. Flying. Bringer of the Last Gifts. Vampire Demon. Whenever Bringer of the Last Gifts enters the battlefield, if you cast it, each player sacrifices all other creatures they control. Then each player returns all creature cards from their graveyard that weren't put there this way to the battlefield. So this is a 8 mana Living Death. Yeah, not a big fan. We're just gonna skip past that. 8 mana Living Death is wild. I don't care if it is a 6/6 flying body. Passed up where I was at. Next one. Alright. Now we're getting into uncommon cards, I believe. Dreadmaul's Ire to the turn. Alright, guys, I give you a deal. Any uncommon cards, I'm going to skim through it. If I find the card interesting, I'll talk about it. But I'm really just going to go over the legendary and the mythics and shit. Here's a rare 2 mana, 2/2. Creature Human Druid. Tap this, add 1 mana of any color. Exile target card from your graveyard. You may cast dinosaur spells from among cards you exiled with this. If you cast it this way, that creature enters the battlefield with a finality counter on it. That's a mana dork for 2 mana and it does stuff. So it definitely can find slots in plenty of decks. It's not bad. For sure not bad. Fabrication Foundry, 2 mana artifact. Mana Rock, add a white, spend this to only active to cast artifacts or activated ability of an artifact source. 3 mana, tap this, exile one or more artifacts you control with total mana cost X or less. Return an artifact card with mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is like that red goblin card from Goblin Welder. It's like a white Goblin Welder with more steps. It's a solid card. I could dig it. Oh, Goblin Engineer. Yeah, solid card. Not interesting. Here's a rare card. Soul's a Little Lost. 2 mana. An asterisk plus an asterisk plus 1. So it's like a Tormogorth type creature. As an addition to its other costs to cast this spell, discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. Fathomless Descent. Souls of the Lost. Power and toughness is equal to the number of permanent cards from your graveyard in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that plus 1. For 2 mana, I could dig this card in Corvold. That's pretty good. I like that. Don't really give a shit. Here we go. A green and X Jade Light Splunker 1/1 Splunker. When Jade Light Splunker enters the battlefield, it explores X times. Okay, that's I actually like this card. Dusk of the Rose Reliquary. 1 mana as additional cost. Sacrifice an artifact or a creature. War 2, which is nice for what it does. When it enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until this leaves the battlefield. That stays exiled. Actually, this is pretty solid removal. I can see this card getting a lot of play in limited formats. Alright. Now we get to some sauce. Alright. Now, here's your lucky day. Here are one of those cards that I can't read, but I vaguely kind of know what this card is. Now, for 2 mana, I think this is the fattest creature for 2 mana around. 2 mana, it's a legendary creature. It's an 8/8. 2 mana, 8/8. Legendary Spirit God. Descend 8. The Ancient One can't attack or block unless there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. For 4 mana, you draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever you discard a card this way, target player mills cards equal to its mana cost. A nice little mill engine. It draws you a card, you loot, you mill somebody. It's an 8/8 body. And in Dimir, it's not that hard to get 8 permanents and to mill yourself to attack or block. So you'll always have that. Now, this is a card that I seen that I posted in the group chat that I'm excited for, just for a specific deck I have. Sovereign Alchemic Ahu. 4 mana, 3/4, War 2. Whenever Sovereign Anik Ahu attacks, for each creature you control with power greater than creature's base power, put a number of 1/1 counters on that creature equal to the difference. 3/4. Now, wait, where? Put a number. Oh no, this is the card I'm excited for. I don't give a shit about this. This is an okay card. Cat Tribal is a super niche tribal. I've never seen Noble Tribal in my life. This card's okay. The card that I'm excited for, this card can actually go in that deck. I'll explain it when the time comes. Oh, fuck, shit, bitch. No, okay. No, not to you yet. Oh, we're almost to the caves. Okay, looks like we're on multicolored cards right now. Ooh, the first Planeswalker I've seen. Quiznos? Quintarius Can, 5 mana, 4, legendary Planeswalker. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, Quintarius Can deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. It starts off at 4 devotion, +1. Created 3/2 red and white spirit token. For 3 mana, you discover 4. Exile any number of target cards from your graveyard. Add a red mana for each card exiled this way. You may play those cards this turn. Oh shit! This ult is solid. Hey, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Boros Planeswalker. I actually dig that a lot. Gishath is classic. This card also looks pretty insane. I've seen a little bit of this card. The Myco Tyrant, 3 mana, legendary creature, Elder Fungus, trample. The Myco Tyrant's power and toughness is equal to the number of creature cards you control that are fungus and sapperlings. At the beginning of your end step, create X11 black fungus creature tokens with this creature can't block, and where X is the number of times you descended this turn. I love that. This card can kind of low key be used in Corville too. I love that ability. It's a pretty good card. Ooh, a new Saheeli? A Saheeli creature, not a planeswalker. Interesting. Saheeli, the Sun Brilliance. 2 mana, 2/2. Legendary Human Advisor. For 2 mana, tap this. Create a token that's a copy of another target creature or artifact you control, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. It gains haste. Sacrifice at the beginning of your next end step. If you have a Sundials in the Infinite, you never exile that card. If you guys aren't familiar with Sundial and Infinite is, let me just pull that up real fast. Sundial of the Infinite. Just in your turn. So anytime a card that says at the beginning of your next end step, you can pair that with Sundials in the next Infinite, and you don't gotta exile or you don't gotta fulfill this last part. That's pretty good. I like that. Did I just go farther up? Nope. Oh shit. Stupid. Alright. Saheeli's. Oh, we have a veto. I like how this veto, we just added white to veto and it became a demon. Veto, Fanatic of Akalosos. 4/4 flying legendary vampire demon. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, you gain 2 life. If this is the first time you did that ability, if that first time this ability has resolved this turn, if it's the second time this ability resolves, the opponent loses 2 life. If it's the third time, you create a 4/3 white and black vampire demon token with flying. The old veto is way better. It's a combo piece. This card's okay, I guess. Can't read that. Deep Fathom Echo, 4 mana, 4/4. At the beginning of your combat this turn, Deep Fathom Echo explores. Then you may have it become a copy of another target creature. You could turn your turn. I could dig that. It's okay. I can see that in some decks. I'm pretty sure I can't read that. Yeah. Squirming Emergence. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Fathom Descent. 3 mana. Return to the battlefield. Target non-land permanent this turn. Return to the battlefield. Target non-land permanent card from your graveyard. If the mana cost is less than or equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Oh, okay. Oh, another fucking Corville card. A lot of Corville support coming out in this. We have Molten Collapse. 2 mana sorcery. Choose one. If you descended this turn, you may choose both instead. You may descend if a permanent card was put into the graveyard from anywhere. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Or destroy target creature. Destroy target non-creature, non-land, non-permanent with mana value 1 or less. It's a sorcery. It's like, I was just about to say, it's like Dreadbore, and Dreadbore fucking sucks. But this is a little better than Dreadbore, to be honest. Dreadbore should not be a rare. It's an old card, though, so I guess I get it. Alright, where were we? The Belligerent. We have another legendary artifact vehicle. 4 mana, 5/5, crew 3. Whenever the belligerent attacks, create a treasure token. Until the end of turn, you may look at the top card of your library at any time, and you may play lands and cast spells from the top of them. I can see this in a like a Saheeli or like the Saheeli deck, even the new Saheeli, but the old Saheeli, the busted commander one. Pretty decent card. Where are we? Can I read this? Nope. Can I read this? Nope. I can read this though. Palani's Hatcher, 5 mana, 5/3. Other dinosaurs you control have haste. It's a dinosaur lord. When Palani's Hatcher enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 green dinosaur egg creature token at the beginning of your combat on your turn. If you control one or more eggs, sacrifice an egg. Then create a 3/3 dinosaur token. The Patali Tanani, that's not the name of the card. I can't really pronounce it, but it's a Naya card that creates eggs. This card can go in that deck. Ooh, we have a legendary spirit. Abuelo, Ancestral Echo, 3 mana, legendary creature spirits, 2/2, flying, war 2. Oh yeah, I've seen this. For 3 mana, exile another target creature or artifact you control, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. I don't really care about the Spiral Tribal or other bullshit. I just like this for Flicker reasons, because I have Flicker decks, and that's pretty good. That's a comment, I can't read that. These are legendary uncommons. Like I said, uncommon cards. I'm just going to go over the ones that are interesting. And this is the one that's interesting. Alright. I'm super pumped about this. Cutzil, Malamet Exemplar. I got it. 3 mana, 3/3. This is the best part. The second part is just like icing on a cake, but this is the best part. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. I'll tell you why. That's important for me. And then whenever one or more creature cards you control, whenever one or more creatures you control each with power greater than its base power deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I can tell you why. That's also good. So I have a commander deck, a Naya commander deck, Shalai and Halar. It's a combo bait deck. That deck has so many ways to win, and obviously all the ways to win are on my turn, and there are plenty of cards, kill spells, counters, whatever, to stop me from winning. That's a vein of my existence in that deck. Every time I try to win, somebody in my play group has a fucking answer. But with this, my opponents can't cast spells during my turn, so I can just win. I love that. And then Shalai and Halar, if familiar with the card, has to deal with 1/1 counters. So I'm constantly putting 1/1 counters on my creature. So all my creatures are already way more powerful than what they start off at. So when they deal combat damage, I draw cards off of that. Really good. I'm excited about that for sure. I hope I pull it. It's uncommon, so I am sure I will. I don't really give a shit about these other uncommons. Yeah, fuck these cards. Let's go over to these artifacts. I've seen some good stuff with the artifacts. Chamil, the Inner Sun, 6 mana. Is this like a fucking Immortal Sun, like this versions of Immortal Sun? Spells you control can't be countered. We love that. At the beginning of your end step, discover 5. Okay. That's okay. It could get some play in some decks. Kind of niche, but it's alright. I'm not making fun of nobody's language or anything. I just can't pronounce that shit. Tarian Soul Cleaver, a 1 mana legendary artifact equipment. You equipped it for 2. Whenever another artifact or creature is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on an equipped creature. Okay, it's kind of like Blade of the Blood Chief for artifacts. I get that. Can't read that. I've seen this card. This is another one of those, like, you've heard me mention Corvold a lot during this, because a lot of these cards are really good for that deck. I can't pronounce this for shit though. Matzalanatili, the Great Door. 3 mana, legendary artifact. Tap it, discard draw a card, discard a card. Easy enough. For 4 mana, and tap this. Transform it. Only activated if there's 4 or more permanent types in my graveyard. There usually isn't Corvold. And turns into the core, legendary land. Fathomless Descent. Tap it. Add X mana of any one color where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Any deck that any type of dredge deck. Are you fucking kidding me? And you can do that at instant speed. You don't have to do it on your turn. Then it's tapped. You can do it at the end of somebody's turn before your turn. This card's crazy. This card's crazy good. I'm super excited for this card too. Next, Threefold Thunderhulk, 7 mana. Sheesh. 7 mana, 0/0. When it enters the battlefield, put 3/1 counters on it. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, create a number of 1/1 gnome artifact creature tokens equal to its power. Sacrifice another creature, put a 1/1 counter on it. This is okay. I'm not paying 7 mana for that. That's just outlandish. So on to the next one. Throne of the Grim Captain. 2 mana, legendary artifact. Tap it, mill 2 cards. Already kind of dig it. Craft with a dinosaur, merfolk, pirate, or vampire. In 4 mana. This turns into the Grim Captain. Legendary creature. Skeleton pirate. Skeleton spirit pirate. Minish, trample, lifelink, haste, 7/7. When the Grim Captain attacks, each opponent sacrifices a non-land permanent. Then you may put an exile creature card used to craft this. Is it any number? Craft with A. Okay. That's okay. Weird little tribal card. I think that's more of a limited card in limited formats. Treasure map. Oh yeah, this is an old card. I have a copy of Treasure Map. Okay, now we're getting to fucking caves and bullshit, and I'm always excited for lands because one thing about Commander, in the more decks you have, lands are mad important. Cavern of Souls is pretty fucking sick that they're reprinting that. I love that. I wish it got reprinted as a cave though, because that just makes sense. But yeah, this is dope. Echoing Deeps, land cave, legendary. You may have Echoing Deeps into the battlefield tap as a copy of another land in your graveyard, except as a cave in addition to those other types? What the fuck? That's pretty fucking good. If you ask me, this looks like another cave that I can't read, but at least it's another legendary cave. Manland. Yeah, Manland. I take it this is a Manland too. This is also a Manland. This is also a Manland. And this is also a Manland. You can't read that. This is uncommon, but it's a cave, so it's worth noting. This is also a cave. Other caves you have, pay 1 mana at any. Oh, okay. I actually like that. That's pretty good. Is this like what? Terramorphic Expanse or some bullshit like that? Can't read it, but I'm pretty sure it's something like that. Alright. Ooh, we have a cycle of cave cards. Hidden Courtyard comes in tapped, of course. Produces a white. 5 mana in it. Sacrifice it. Discover. Activate only as a sorcery. Essentially 6 mana to discover 4 is wild. Blue. Oh. Are these all just discover 4? Pretty underwhelming. They're just. Are these rare? No, they're not. Good. Oh, they're fucking basic. Makes fucking sense why they suck. Hey, these are fire. I like these. These are dope. The Jurassic World part. The Jurassic World card, boys and girls. I'm excited to go over these. We have a 2 mana instant, permission denied. Counter target non-creature spell. Your opponent can't cast non-creature spells this turn. I have decks that this can go in. This is a pretty good counter spell. Oh, this is just Dovin's Veto. Fucking stupid. Is this just a rare Dovin's Veto? think so. I don't feel like looking into it. I'm pretty sure this is just a rare Dolphins veto. Swooping Petrodon, 5 mana, 3/3, flying haze. Whenever swooping Petrodon or another dinosaur flying enters the battlefield under your control, gain control of target creature and opponent controls until the end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains flying and haste until the end of turn. After getting its next end step, target land deals 3 damage to that creature. Weird, but alright, I suppose so. Henry Wu, Genesis. Ooh, legendary creature, Soul Tie, 1/4. Henry Wu and other human creatures you control have exploited battlefield. You may sacrifice it. Whenever a creature you control exploits a non-human creature, draw a card. If the exploited creature had power 3 or greater, create a treasure token. That's pretty weird, little human dinosaur type of situation, but it could be fun. I can see the value in that. All right, next we have Grim Gigantosaurus. That's just
Guys, this orange is Gigantosaurus, whatever you say, Giganosaurus, Gigantosaurus, Metamorphic, Giganonorstis, Jamornis.
for Grim Gigantosaurus. You'll see. Monstrosity 10. It's a creature dinosaur. 10 mana. 7 mana. 10/10. Monstrosity 10 for 12. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each creature with power 4 or greater your opponent controls. When Grim Gigantosaurus becomes monstrous, Jesus, destroy all artifact and creatures other than that. Okay. It's okay. Savage Orders, 4 mana sorcery. In addition to cause as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature of 4 or greater. Search the library for a dinosaur creature card, and put it into the battlefield and shuffle it. It gains indestructible in a turn. It's like natural order. I was about to go look at my binder real quick to see what the name of the card is. It's like it's a natural order for dinosaurs. Okay. It was spitting dildosaurus. Spitting dilphosaurus. Whenever spitting dilphosaurus enters the battlefield or attacks, put a 1/1 counter up to 1 target creature. Creatures your opponent control gets -1/-1 on them and can't block. Whatever. Cresting Mosasaurus, 8 mana, 4/8. Emerge 6. You may cast a spell, sacrifice. Okay, yeah, you sacrifice a creature and you cast it for its emerge cost. When cresting Mosasaurus enters the battlefield, if you cast it, return each non-dinosaur to its owner's hands. Okay. It's like a fucking Leviathan that returns all Leviathans and Krakens and shit to your owner's hands, except it's a fucking dinosaur. I get it. Owen Grady, the Raptor Trainer. 3 mana, 3/2. You partner it with Blue, the Loyal Raptor. Tap it. Put your choice of menace, trample, reach, or haste counter on target dinosaur. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so this would be a fucking Tamir deck. Blue, the Loyal Raptor, 4 mana, legendary creature dinosaur, 5/4. Partner it with Owen Grady, the Raptor Drainer. For each kind of counter on Blue, the Loyal Raptor, each other dinosaurs you control enter the battlefield with a counter on it of that kind. So you pretty much just load up with these counters. You don't even got to tap this to put them on there. There's all type of ways to put counters, different type of counters on your creatures. Put it on Blue, and all your dinosaurs come out with those abilities. Pretty good. Hunting Velociraptor. Creature dinosaur, 3/2. First strike, dinosaur spells you control have prowl for 3 mana. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Welcome to Jurassic Park. 3 mana saga. For each opponent, up to 1 target creature and 1 target up to one target non-creature artifact. They Let me start over. For each opponent, up to one target non-creature artifact they control becomes a 0/4 wall artifact creature with defender. As I can't read. The first step. For each opponent, up to one target non-dinosaur. I'm getting tired. It's getting pretty late. So I'm just trying to get through this. Alright. The first part of the saga. For each opponent, up to one target non-creature artifact they control becomes a 0/4 wall artifact creature with defender. For as long as you control this saga, it kind of gets rid of one of their non-creature artifacts. The second one, create a 3/3 dinosaur creature token with trample and haste until the end of turn. It gains trample and haste at the end of turn. Destroy all walls, exile this saga, then return it to the battlefield transformed under your control. This shit transforms, what the fuck? It turns into Jurassic Park, legendary land. Each dinosaur card in your graveyard has escape. Oh shit. It kind of drags along to get to this, and I get the wall thematic of it, but it's okay. Okay, Ian Malcolm, Keltishishin, Kakaka Boo Boo, whatever. It's a 3 mana, 2/2, a legendary creature, human scientist. Whenever a player draws their second card each turn, that player exiles the top card of their library. During each player's turn, that player may cast a spell from among cards that they don't own exiled within and mana. Oh shit! This is kind of like a group huggish card. That's pretty interesting. Ooh, we have a mutant on the loose. A legendary dinosaur. Sick. Uh, Indominus. I know I didn't pronounce that right. Don't get at me. Rex Alpha. Jesus Christ. 2 green, a blue, soul tie. 5 mana. It looks crazy, but it's really only just 5 mana. 6/6. When this enters the battlefield, discard any number of creature cards. When it enters, which it enters with flying. Okay, so as long as this card creature has all those abilities, this enters with those abilities. When this enters the battlefield, draw a card for each counter on it. Okay, it enters. You discard a bunch of cards, put a bunch of counters on it, then you draw that many cards. Interesting soul tie deck. It can be built though. Life finds a way. 3 mana enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, populate. Create a token that's a copy of a creature of a creature token you control. Okay, hold on. My brain didn't process that. Sorry. Life finds a way. 3 mana enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, populate. Oh, it's just a populate card. Okay. Ravenous Tyrannosaurus. Devour 3. Dinosaur. Whenever Ravenous Tyrannosaurus attacks, it deals damage equal to the power up to one other target creature. Excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. Pretty solid. Ellie and Alan, paleontologist. Don't get at me. I know it's paleontologist. Okay, Bant, legendary creature. 5 mana, 2/5. Tap it. Exile creature card from your graveyard. Discover X, where X is the mana value of exile card. That's pretty interesting. Sounds like it could be fun. It looks like this is oh, this is what I was talking about. The egg shit. Dr. Ian Malcolm. It's the Alta Polani. Okay. Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool altar. That's pretty sick. Indopt in Indo Jesus Christ. Indoraptor, the perfect hybrid. 3 mana, 3/1. Bloodthirst X. This creature is just a battlefield with X counters on it. where X is the damage dealt to your opponents this turn. Okay. Emerge when this is dealt damage. Choose an opponent at random. This card deals damage equal to its power, unless that player sacrifices a non-token creature. Interesting. Very interesting. Dino DNA, a 1 mana artifact imprint. Okay. Uh, for 1 mana, tap it, exile target creature card from your graveyard, only activate as a sorcery. For 6 mana, create a token copy of creature card exiled with Dino's DNA, except it's a 6/6 green dinosaur with trample. Okay, so it gains all the types. It's still all the types of the creature, except it's a 6/6 dinosaur. Interesting. We have Don't Move. 5 mana, sorcery, destroy all tapped creatures until your next turn. Whenever a creature becomes tapped, destroy it. A cool little field way. We have Compy Swarm. 3 mana, 2/2. Creature dinosaur. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, create a token that's a copy of Compy Swarm. If a creature died, it doesn't have to be your creature. That's okay. Command Tower, cool art. Command Tower, cool art. That's pretty cool art. And these are pretty sick. I like them. I can dig them. Special guest. Ooh. Windgrace. Interesting. Myriad of Weatherlight Duelists. I traded my copy years ago, and I've always wanted another copy, so it's cool. It's getting reprinted. Mana Crypt. Woo! Okay. I guess we know what the money card is, along with Caverns of Souls. Polyraptor, that's a good one. Carnage Tyrant is also a good one. Calamex is a good one. Galta is a good one. Rampaging Ferocodon is a good one. I actually really like that art over the old art. That's pretty good. Methodist Vampire, what the fuck does this do? Each creature you control is a vampire just as other types. Okay. Underworld, baby. Underworld Breach. Thrasios. Oh, boy. Bridge from Below. Star Compass. Lord of Atlantis. Pitiless Plunderers getting your reprint. Sheesh. Dargo Shipwrecker. Breachers, Brazens, Plunderer. Commander. Okay, I take it this is the Pirate Commander deck. Here's your 2 commanders. Admiral Brass is back. It enters the battlefield, mill 4 cards. At the beginning of your combat, on your turn, you may return a pirate card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. It has a base power and toughness of 4/4, and it gains haste until the end of turn. That's okay. That's interesting. Andres the Renegade. 4 mana, 4/3. Each creature you control but don't own gets a +2/+2, and has Menace of Death Touch. And it's a pirate in addition to its other types. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell you don't control or you don't own, create 2 tapped treasure tokens. Interesting card. Seems like you're playing with other people's decks. Could be cool. The Abominable 4 mana 6/6 vehicle, a legendary vehicle, trample. Whenever a creature controls deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Crew 3. That's not too bad. When you cast Indomitable from your graveyard, as long as you control 3 or more pirates or vehicles. Okay, so you cast it from your graveyard as long as you control 3 or more pirates or vehicles. That's pretty good. Stormfleet Negotiator, 3 mana, 2/2, flying. Parlay. Okay. Whenever Stormfleet Negotiator attacks, each player reveals a top card of their library. Which are for each non-land card revealed this way, you create a map token, and then each player draws a card. So you parlay for map tokens instead of mana. It's okay. Francisco Foul Marauder, 2 mana, 0/1. Legendary creature, bird pirate, flying. When Francisco the Foul Marauder can't block, and when 1 or more pirates you control those combats to a player, Francisco explores. It's a partner. I wonder who it partners with. The Grim Captain's Locker. Legendary artifact, 4 mana. You tap it to surveil 1. Okay. And you tap it until the end of turn. Each creature card in your graveyard gains escape for 4 mana. Exile 4 or more cards from your graveyard. Okay. Escape 4. Okay. Yeah. My brain is dying right now, dude. So many spoilers. Okay, so for 4 mana, each of your creatures gain explore. Makes sense. Alright. Skeleton Crew, 4 mana, 3/3. Skeleton Pirate. Each other creature you control, each other creature you control that's a skeleton pirate gets a 1/1, so it's a skeleton lord, skeleton or pirate lord. Whenever one or more pirate cards leave your graveyard, 2/2 pirate, niche pirate card, that'll just be good in the confines of this deck. Broadside Bombardiers, 3 mana, creature goblin pirate, 2/2, menace haste, boast. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. Broadside bombers, those 2 damage, +2, which guy deals damage equal to 2 plus the sacrifice permanent's mana value. Okay. That's alright. Gem Cutter Buccaneer, 4 mana, 1/3, creature orc pirate artificer. When Gem Cutter Buccaneer or another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, create a tapped treasure token. Treasures you control are equipments in addition to its other types. What the fuck? A crit creature gets 2/0 if it's equipped to a pirate for 1, equipped to anybody else for 3. Huh. That's interesting. Really good in a pirate deck. It could be good in another deck where it has like Sigarda's 8 or something in there. Armed Mounted Anchor, 3 mana, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets 2/2 in menace. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards unless you discard a pirate card. Equipped creature, this ability costs 2 less to activate if you have 2 or fewer cards in your hand. Oh. Interesting. I get it in the confines of the deck. Clavinio, First of the Blessed, 3 mana, 2/2, a legendary creature, vampire cleric. Whenever you attack, target attacking vampire that isn't a demon becomes a demon in addition to its other types. It gains whenever this creature dies. Draw a card. Whenever you and create a tapped 4/3 white vampire demon creature token. Okay, it's kind of like the new Vita. All right, next we have Carmen, the Cruel Skymancer. A 5 mana 2/2. That's already not great. Flying. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, put a 1/1 counter on Carmen, the Cruel Skymancer, and you gain 1 life. Whenever Carmen attacks, return up to 1 target permanent card with mana value less or equal to the Carmen's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, it's not bad. Vampire deck, I can see it in there. But other than that, yeah, it's not bad. And I guess we're moving into the vampire commander decks. Oh, yeah. All that was pirates. So now we've moved on to the vampire commander decks, apparently. And those will be the 2 vampire commanders. So it's Orzhov, huh? We all know Orzhov sucks. Order of Sacred Dusk. 8 mana is crazy. Okay, Convoke. What's your guy? 8 mana 5/5 vampire knight with Convoke. Flying lifelink haste. Huh. A Orzhov creature with haste. Exalted. Other vampires you control have exalted. Charismatic Conqueror. 2 mana 2/2 vigilant. Whenever an artifact or a creature enters the battlefield untapped and under an opponent's control, they may tap that permanent. If they don't, you create a 1/1 vampire token with lifelink. I have a deck this could go into Thalia and Gitrog. That's already a very like Hateberry Staxy deck, and then sure, it's not an indirect piece, because that's one thing about like that deck. It's like I eat if you eat, so you can have it coming in untapped. But I make that 1/1. That's pretty good. Alanda's Hierophant. Alanda's Hierophant. 3 mana, 1/1 vampire cleric, flying. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on it. Okay. Whenever Alanda's Hierophant dies, create X 1/1 vampire creature tokens with lifelink where X is its power. Decent enough. March of the Canonized. 2 mana in X enchantment. Whenever March of the Canonized enters the battlefield, create X 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink. At the beginning of your upkeep, if your devotion to white and black is 7 or greater, create a 4/3 white and black vampire creature tokens. Wait. Pew! At the beginning of your upkeep, if your devotion to white and black is 7 or greater, create a 4/3 white and vampire. So it's not instead. This card sucks. Redemption Choir, 4 mana, vampire cleric, 3/3 lifelink coven. When Redemption Choir enters the battlefield or attacks, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, return permanent card with mana cost 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Honestly, this is a Sun Titan with different steps. Dusk Legion's Surrogate, 2 mana, 2/2 vampire soldier with menace. Tap 2 and sacrifice it. Each non-token vampire you control gains persist until the end of turn. That's pretty good. I see the value in that. Master of the Dark Rites, 1 mana, 1/1 vampire cleric. Sacrifice another creature. Add 3 mana. Add 3 mana to your mana pool. Use this to only cast vampires, clerics, or demons. This could go into my Aethereal Shadowborn deck. That's pretty good. Promise of Occults, 2 mana enchantment. Oh, it's an adventure. The 3 mana adventure part, the sorcery, Foul Rebirth, sacrifice a non-demon creature. If you do, create a 4/3 white and black vampire demon token with flying. At the beginning of your end step, if you may sacrifice a non-demon creature to populate. A mono black populate card. That's pretty weird, but I get it. Now we're in the merfolk portion. Alright, Hot Ball of the Surging Soul. 4 mana, 3/3. At the beginning of your combat, each merfolk creature you control explores. Whenever Hot Ball, the Surging Soul, attacks, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you don't, draw a card. Okay, that goes hand in hand with the Explorer. I see where that's going. Zalatiak, the Smiling Food. I've seen this card. 6 mana, 6/6. Legendary creature, Salamander Serpent. Whenever this card enters the battlefield or attacks, put a flood counter on target land. That land is an island in addition to its other types. As long as it has a flood counter, on it. At the beginning of your end step, untap each permanent with a counter on it. So you pretty much put the flood counters on your own shit. Singer of the Swift Rivers, 3 mana, 3/2 creature, merfolk shaman. Flash, when this enters the battlefield, put a shield counter on another creature you control. You may cast merfolk spells as though they had flash. Okay. Merfolk tribal. Mist Dancer, 5 mana, 3/3 creature, merfolk wizard. Flying, other merfolks you control get a 1/0 in flying, and it has Encore for 7. That's pretty whatever. Ripples of Potential, 2 mana instant. Proliferate, then choose any number of permanents you control that had a counter put on them this way. Those permanents phase out. That's really good. I like that. The cards I've seen so more are still pretty mid. That card's really good. Wave Goodbye, 4 mana sorcery. Return each creature card without a 1/1 counter on it to its owner's hand. I get it. Bygone's Marvel, 2 mana sorcery. Descend 8. When you cast a spell, if there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, copy this spell twice. You may choose new targets for the copies. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. What the fuck? That's good. That's a really good card. Deeproot Historian. 4 mana, 3/3. Merfolk Druid. Merfolk and Druid cards in your graveyard have retrace. Fucking Druid Tribal. uh, Topography Tracker. 3 mana, 2/2. When Topography Tracker enters the battlefield, create a map token. When a creature you control explores, instead it explores again. Okay. Tribituary Instructor. 4/4. Merfolk Shaman. Mentor. Whenever a creature you control from one counter on it dies, draws a card. I like that. I need that card from my Shalaya Halar deck. Now we're into Dinosaur Tribal. This card is hilarious to me. I'll get to it in a minute. Pantalaza, Sun Favored. 5 mana, 4/4. Whenever this card or another dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may discover X, where X is the creature's toughness. Do that only once each turn. So it's limited. You can't just keep flickering it to do it, but you can flicker it and do it on other people's turns. Pretty solid. Gishaft will still be the commander for dinosaurs, but this is an easy add for Gishaft. Now this card, I want to make a fight deck for this card right here. Wait to Trainer Prodigy. 3 mana, 1/5. The best part, it has a big butt. It has haste. Target creature you control fights. Target creature you control fights target creature. This ability costs 2 less to activate if it targets 2 creatures you control. That's key. If a creature you control is being dealt damage, causing it to the ability to trigger, which of that. Target creature you control. No, not right there. If a creature you control is being dealt damage, if a creature you control being dealt damage causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, you copy that. So you fight your own shit. When it's dealt damage that way, you copy that. And then you put in effects to untap this card. That's fucking hilarious. I like that card. Next, we have Bronze Beak Foragers. 4 mana, 3/4 dinosaur. When this card enters the battlefield, for each opponent, exile up to 1 non-land permanent that player controls until this leaves the battlefield. For a white and X, put target card with mana value X exiled with this into the owner's graveyard. Oh, that's a sneaky removal for Dinosaur Tribal. I kind of like that. From the Rubble, 6 mana enchantment. As From the Rubble enters the battlefield, choose creature type. Obviously, this would be dinosaurs for this deck's case. At the beginning of your end step, return target creature of chosen type from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Pretty solid. At least it's the end step and not the upkeep. It being the end step makes this card good. Raffle Raptors, 5 mana, 5/5, trample. When dinosaurs you control are dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that's not a dinosaur. Okay, so it's pretty much it gives your dinosaurs enrage with that ability. Curious Altosaur, 4 mana, 2/5, Vigilance Reach. Whenever a dinosaur you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Pretty straightforward. A Dinosaur Egg, creature type, Dinosaur Egg. 0/3. Evolve. Whenever creature is on the battlefield, put on 1 counter. If it has higher toughness or power than this creature, whenever Dinosaur Egg dies, you may discover X, where X is its toughness. I get it. Scion of Calamity, 5 mana dinosaur, 5/5. Myriad. Okay. Whenever Scions of Calamity does combat damage to a player, destroy artifact or enchantment that player controls. If this had trample, that would make that really mean. Sunfrills, Immediator, 3 mana, 3/3, dinosaur. When Sunfrills Immediator attacks, you may have it become a copy of another target dinosaur you control, except its name is Sunrill Initiator, in addition to its other types. I get it. Uh, Progenitor's Icon. Progenitor's Icon. This is the battlefield. Choose a creature type. Dinosaurs. Add 1 mana of any color. 3 mana mana rock. It's the next spell you cast. The next spell of the chosen type you cast this turn. You can cast it as though it has flash. Okay, you can make your dinosaurs have flash. I take it these are just random cards that aren't in any of the commander decks. These are just commander cards you could get in it. Paleontologist Pickaxe. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, draw a card and discard a card. Equip one. Craft with one or more creatures. 5. What does it transform to? Dinosaur's Headdress. In equipment, when Dinosaur's Headdress enters the battlefield, it attaches to a creature you control. As Dinosaur's Headdress becomes attached to a creature, choose Exile Creature card used to craft Dinosaur's Headdress. A creature is a copy of the last chosen card. Okay, I see that. Eye of Ojar Tak. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Craft with 2 that share a card type. 6. So it'll be the artifacts. Apex Observatory. Apex Observatory enters the battlefield tapped. As it enters, choose a card type shared among 2 cards exiled with it. The next spell you cast this turn of the chosen type. Oh, okay. So, say you do 2 creatures, 2 enchantments, 2 planeswalkers. You tap this, a creature, enchantment, planeswalker will be free. Got it. Xavier Saul, Infested Captain. Sultai. 3/3, legendary human fungus pirate. That's a weird typing. Remove a counter from a permanent you control. Remove a counter from another permanent you control. Populate. Sacrifice a creature, proliferate. I see what it's doing there. You gotta tap it for both of those abilities. Tetsin, the Gnome Champion. Whenever Tetsin or another double-faced artifact enters the battlefield under your control, mill 3 cards. If you do, put an artifact you control from among them into your hand. Craft 6 with 4 artifacts, at least 4 artifacts. 3 mana 2/2. The Golden Gear Colossus, legendary artifact creature, gnome. When Vigilance Trample, 6/6. Whenever Golden Gear Colossus enters the battlefield or attacks, transform up to 1 double-faced artifact you control. Create a 2/1/1 colorless gnome artifact tokens. This is super niche. I wouldn't even want to begin to look for double-faced artifacts. And this card is going to be a no from me. Illustrious Wonderglyph, 5 mana, 2/2, Ascend. Other artifact creatures you control get 2/2 as long as you have City Blessing. The first card I've seen with City Blessing in this set. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 colorless gnome creature token. I'm good off of that. Altar of the Wretched artifact. Whenever Altar of the Wretched enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another non-token creature. If you do, draw X cards and mill X cards, where X is that creature's power. I love that. Craft with 1 or more creatures. Tap 3, return altar from the graveyard to your hand. This turns into a creature, Skeleton Horde, the Wretch Bone Mass. Whenever the Wretch Bone Mass power toughness is equal to the total life power of exiled, the total power of exiled cards you craft it with. The Wretch, Wretch Bone Mass has flying and last exile. Okay, not a fan. The Stalactites. Add a red mana, or it's an artifact. Add a red mana only to cast instants of sorceries. Craft for four or more red instants of sorceries. Turns into an artifact. The Consuming Catalyst. Tap 2 in it. Choose an exile card used to craft use to craft this. At random, you may cast that without playing its mana cost. This is a cool mono red deck card. I could definitely put this in my mono red deck for sure. Contestive Claws, 2 mana sorcery. Target creature you controls deals damage equal to its power to another creature. If it's excess damage, discover X, where X is the amount of excess damage. I like that for the fight deck. That's going to be built. Trust me. All right. The next, we have some of these cards I've never seen before. Can't read that. Wedding Ring is a really good card. It's cool that that's in there. Chorus of Portal. I like this card too. I'm glad that's in there. Chalice of the Void. I am also glad this is in there. Archaeomancer's map. That's really good. Mimic Vat. Really good. Shronic Resonator. Really good. I don't know what this is for 5 mana. I can't tell. But I'm pretty sure. Amulet of Vigor. That's fire. Cauldron of something. Cauldron card. Worn Powerstone, Everflowing Chalice, Colossus Hammer, Whisper Silk Cloak, Expedition Map, that makes sense. Arcane Signet. The showcases. These Caverns are these Caverns of Souls are pretty sick. Man, I hope I pull a Mana Crypt. We have the art cards of the red and white gods. Here are the art cards of the commanders. The Sahili, Margaret, this Vito, this Malcolm. That's pretty sick. Spore Nexus. We have Gishav. We have this pretty solid Planeswalker in my book. That card was pretty solid. The land. More art cards. That's it for the spoilers. Alright guys, this is coming to the end of the video. Sorry if I fumbled over my word. Yeah, don't start this over. Alright gamers, this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the spoilers and my commentary. I love feedback, and I love for my community to engage with me and let me know what is more enjoyable for them and what they would like to see. So please like, comment, and subscribe if you like the content. And if there's any suggestions you have, as long as it's constructive criticism, I'm open ears, and I love it for you guys to do that. So this is Stonky Kong 64 signing out. Have a good one, boys and girls.